Samsung Electronics is a South Korean multinational electronics company headquartered in Suwon, South Korea.
Right, so we're talking about mobile phones today. That's why it's on the list. It is the manufacturer of the Galaxy range of mobile phones. But remember, they are also one of the world's largest contract manufacturers of chips that go into other people's phones and electronic devices.
Market cap $192.6 billion US, a PE of 9.2, dividend yield here of 16.7. That's a high dividend yield.
That's tremendous. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah, it's historic, so there might have been something strange in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Samsung is a pretty interesting one, and if you look at market share of smartphone shipments at the moment, it's number one. Apple is second, but of course, as you mentioned, the handset story isn't the only story. It's semiconductor chips, it's displays, and that's where their real competitive advantage lies. Unfortunately, we've seen a little bit of a downturn in handset sales globally overall, or in terms of that growth. And one of the things that's really worrying with this company in particular is the fact that the Chinese are looking to get a state-owned chip maker on the go in that country, which might result in some sort of an oversupply situation in the chip market and could be really bad for Samsung.
Is it a very real risk?
It is a very real risk. I mean, this is something that has been flagged as one of the biggest risks to this business. Another thing that is probably a bit of a concern in the Samsung space is their corporate governance. The way that they report isn't very transparent. They only recently split the chairman and CEO role, so it's also another concern.
You want to look at the performance before you give your thoughts on this one?
It's actually picked up a little bit in recent weeks. That is the OTC listed element that trades in New York. So that SSNLF is one of the things that you can buy over there, and you have to work backwards. And that is part of the problem. Principal listing in Korea. As Chantal is saying, it's part of that Kaibol, the Samsung group. It's the largest portion, but there are all these issues around transfer pricing between the two. It has been criticized in recent years because of poor performance and then bad visibility in terms of numbers, bit of earnings volatility.
But great visibility when it comes to the advertising space.
Oh, yes.
Samsung is all over the place.
It's a tremendous brand, and of course it has enormous visibility also in the television space and in those flat screen displays and airport displays.
Isn't there merit then in the brand itself?
There is, but the problem is it has to convert, and the problem is, of course, high revenues but thin margins and brutally competitive in some of those parts of the market, as Chantal says. So chips and displays and LCD displays generally, either big ones or small ones. They're certainly not alone there. Foxconn's in that space, also AMD.
LG.
Yeah,
LG is the biggest competitor there.
I'm taking that neither of you have been invested in Samsung with this outlook.
No, I haven't. Look, the phones themselves, though, are very popular, and they're cheaper than iPhones by far. So people can get a Samsung phone, and most people love them. I mean,
there's that mid-market exposure that the iPhone really doesn't have. I know Apple's
but for you,
trying,
it's not a strong enough underpin to say that this is a good investment, the mid-market exposure.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's not because handsets still don't make up the majority of revenue in that business. We have to consider the rest of that business. Handsets is the best part of it, but you still have those.
Is there anything else to say on this?
Well, they're bringing the bendable phone, right? So that's the new thing. I don't know how that's going to go. It's actually a bendable screen.
Do you feel the desire to bend your phone?
No,
I'm just wondering. I haven't really thought about bending my phone.
When those big iPhone 6 Pluses came out, remember there was a bit of a kerfuffle because people said they were bending, but then it was like, please don't bend my phone.
Yeah. We'll have to ask Bright when he comes on the show on Friday whether this is
something that the youngsters are going to like.
Anyway, right. So we're going hot or not on Samsung?
Oh wow, earnings visibility is a bit of an issue from our perspective, so it'll have to be a not.
Now that is a big issue, earnings visibility and historic earnings jumping around is definitely not a plus. So no, not hot.